New legislation in Ontario, Canada would allow parents to take non-medical exemptions for their kids' vaccinations only after they take a full course on vaccine literacy. I think this is an amazing idea. I have to admit that all of my original thoughts about this idea were negative, and I'm still not convinced that it's going to work. After all, a lot of anti-vaccine conspiracy theorists will see this as a re-education camp of sorts and possibly make them even more anti-vaccine. You may be thinking, how much more anti-vaccine can you get than not vaccinating your children? But you actually can get pretty severely anti-vaccination. Proponents like Dr. Paul Offit regularly get death threats wherever they go to give talks about the safety and efficacy of vaccines. Another issue with this legislation is that the people who are anti-vaccine aren't necessarily uneducated. In fact, recent research suggests that the rate of vaccine refusal has increased most in areas that are well-educated and wealthy and white, for the record. They're the 3 W's of a looming measles epidemic. And finally, there are several studies that suggest that educating a parent about vaccines isn't necessarily going to change their behavior. So why do I still think this is such a great idea? Because it's just the best idea I've seen thus far that doesn't rely on removing a parent's freedom to make medical decisions for their child. And at the same time, it's going to give us a really great look of what happens in a real-world scenario where we rely primarily on education to influence behavior on vaccines. For the most part, the mixed results of education in past research has all been hypothetical, relying on us just asking parents, or sometimes people who don't even have kids, what they plan to do in the future. And we know that people rarely change their minds while in the midst of an argument. So if you've just shown them educational material, they're probably not going to immediately turn around and change their minds. But if they go away for a while and think about it, maybe they will. Past studies, we haven't been able to do any long-term follow-up. But with this, we're going to have a huge population of people in the real world, not in a lab setting, and we'll be able to see long-term what happens to vaccine rates in Ontario. This even gives researchers an opportunity to test different methods of education. For instance, is it better to teach parents about the safety and efficacy of vaccines, or is it better to just show them pictures of kids who have died of measles or whooping cough? So will it work? I really don't know, but I'm very enthusiastic about legislators in Ontario coming up with some fresh ideas to address a huge problem that unfortunately needs to be solved before the next pandemic.